Welcome back to Factorio MSX Gigabase, where I kind of think we are close to completing out Faster Than Light Theory B, but you know I've sometimes been wrong before. This thing's behaving like an absolute dream. I have occasionally looked at it. I mean, admittedly it doesn't have much going on, but it's behaving like a dream. These numbers are all I'm more than happy with all these kind of numbers. We're well below the 6060 actually. Total game update is 11 microseconds when you've got about 16.6, so we're doing quite well there. The electrical network is probably a little bit high. I'm not too sure if I can do very much about that at this time, but construction manager 0.3 isn't too bad for that. So our strategies there seem to have worked. Trains are way down, but then they're hardly needing to move. The thing is, these production numbers are enough to support our 12k of the two sciences, but and there you go, 12k of the two sciences and 12k in production of the two sciences as well. All time, I don't think anything too earth-shattering has happened here so far. We have got to 3.5 billion iron plate. We haven't quite got to the green circuit achievement yet of 2 billion. That's what the achievement is, isn't it? 2 billion. 400 million red circuits we did last episode, so I mean that was kind of nice. What I'm going to do is we're going to continue trying to do this, what I think is a UPS boost overall, given the tighter format. We're going to try and do it to, well, the next one we'll try and do it to is this one, but probably also this one, and I guess, I mean there's more I can do up here really. I could completely redesign it so that, damn it, maybe that's what I'm going to have to do now. Now that I've mentioned it, damn it! I can't do pass-through, but I could do it so that, well, given the space I've allowed myself, I can't do pass-through, but I probably should do pass-through, because it's 1-to-1. Actually, it's not 1-to-1. And that's probably an error that I've got here. It's 1-to-1 without the prod modules. So, yeah. But yes, if these were, instead of opposite sides, if they were intermingled, it might end up resulting in shorter bot travel, which could be an improvement overall. But still, steel is something that doesn't move that fast. I mean, we have sped these up 13.4 times, but that still means it's about 1.5 seconds per steel. So, there you go. Anyway, certainly, maybe that means the same over here actually. It's not really worth condensing the steel, well, it's certainly not priority, so maybe we get these 2 iron, and then we get the 2 copper. This one possibly would be worth looking at. So I think there's nothing here that, and these are quick, so compressing that up certainly could help. But the flows of the bots are fairly controlled to spread out everywhere, and this lot, it would be better if they were intermingled probably. Though it would involve a longer trip from the iron to green circuits over here, but the volume of these that is getting moved down here would drop. So it's probably worth doing, although yeah, I mean there's only so much we can do. Getting the 2 stacks done would probably be a big start, a big help along the way. I'm kind of expecting this to go pop at any moment, which is why I started the episode, but in light of what we're planning to do, I'm going to head to iron smelting 5, which is the one that is used the most by Blue Science. So it should be able to be drained and turned around fairly quickly once we get there. So that's kind of my hope. In terms of what we've been doing, this guy here, 20k, very little left, but there's been so little demand that remaining 20k hasn't gone yet. We had some flashing lights up here. I think when I first set it up, I may have only set it up for one row of miners on each side, and now I've laid down two just so I don't have to look at it too often. So I had to go up and give it more supplies, so we did that. This thing here, I may have put a few more miners in, I can't really remember. But, you know, that's about it. I've had a look at this regularly, but they all process through and then they go away, generally. So, yeah, that's about it. Obviously we did some updates to SpaceX, and this one is in closed beta at the closed alpha, not closed beta. Closed alpha testing. We've made a little bit of progress. Hopefully it will be able to progress a little bit further soon. So here we are. I guess we will do this kind of the way we've always done them, which is I'm going to run up here. Oh, I'm going to not run into you. So we still use we're still using resources here, just not a huge amount. Ooh. Another one going down the... Oh, okay. Right. Do I have enough room right here? I don't even have to use that one anymore. I can come up here. There we go. So that one now has no path. That should be fine though. It should enable the bottom area here to drain out, which is what we are trying to do. If we can get this to drain out, how many do we actually have sitting in here? It's probably some ridiculously large number because it's all buffered up. 385,000 in that one. In this one we have 308,000. In the next one up we have 154,000. So yeah, the middle ones still end up getting used that much just because it's easier to sort of go in there and go in there. But we should find now... Oh, this guy doesn't want to go anywhere. That could be slightly annoying, but I guess we'll find out soon enough. Based on how long these take to play through. I think probably this one is going to be amongst our first to be able to reprocess. But in any event, we do have a bit of a wait because it's only 32,000 per train. Very, very tiny amount, I think. It's really hard to judge when you're dealing with such massive quantities of science. Just a reminder, if you're fairly new to the series, we are doing SpaceX on 16 times science and production multipliers, but in addition we're also multiplying all of that by marathon 4 times tech pricing. So in actual fact, the price of our science is 64 times what you are faced if you do SpaceX normally. Let's just have a look at the production numbers. Say over 10 minutes we're still doing our 12k a minute, so that's good. I guess, you know, we're not just waiting for the counter, we are actually also waiting for all this iron to drain out of this furnace stack so that we can apply the new one. the new, more condensed version, which is this one. And actually what I might do while I have it up is I definitely don't want it putting circuits in. I'm not exactly sure if the spacing on those is correct. In fact, I don't really want it doing any of this kind of stuff. I certainly don't want it doing any of these. It shouldn't be laying rail down because the rail should really just be guide, bit of a guideline. I don't mind the train stations being there because they should help us place things. I mean, whatever. This is not the one. Why am I wasting time with this one? Our furnace stack is this one. Let's swap these guys around. Now, yeah, we don't need those. Probably don't need all this extra out here. We probably don't need these things that are being placed out here. Some of this just exists because I was testing clocking with this design, I guess, which we all know now is useless, or at least pointless. Let's put it that way. Pointless. Oops. I was hopeful that I might be able to have a little breakthrough there, but no, it's not going to do that for me. So yeah, I don't really want these chests overriding chest positions we've already got, or these. Actually, I probably do want those. Oh well, never mind, it is what it is. So that is our new version of it. Yeah, that's fine. How are we doing? 103,000. Which is still quite a long way away from... I'm actually surprised it's as much as that. Come on, dude. Finish up faster than Light Theory B. You know you want to. Oh, this guy has caused a blockage. I'm going to have to actually let traffic flow. Maybe block it at a different point. It's slightly annoying. If I stop them coming in here, and here, and here, oh, and here, actually stopping them here is pointless, but if we did a break here and here, and then repaired this one, that only lets them go to the top two. And for this particular stack, I changed it, if you recall, so that only the top two could, in fact, be fed, as you can see here. And it seems to work quite well, but the other one also works, so it's not like you absolutely need to do it this way. I guess I was kind of just experimenting. So, how are we doing here now, is the question. 113k, probably added a full ore load into the furnace stack, and has pretty much finished it all immediately. Is there anywhere else where there's a bit of action? Here is the science and the occasional train going to red. 1 iron, 1 copper, that's all it needs at the moment. For green, we've got 2 iron. Green basically brings in iron and green circuits, and everything else that it needs just gets made locally. And yes, the manufacture of the inserters is something that would seem to need too many inserters to squish it up in a tight, compact way. You could lose one space here though, if you really wanted to. It might be worthwhile. I'm going to look at all of these designs because it's my intention to do a new, even more extreme Gigabase after this one. Probably aimed at, well, it will be aimed at, I keep insulting, well not insulting, but talking about the shortcomings of pursuing. There you go guys, I'll come back to that point. We have done Faster Than Light Theory B. We are going straight into Faster Than Light Theory C. This one is only 8 million, but it's 2 iterations of red and green. It's over 2 minutes, which is why we had to double the, well, part of the reasons we had to double the science stack. So it's basically 1 red and green per minute, and everything else is once per 2 minutes. So over 2 minutes you need 2 of each, or 2 of each of red and green, 1 of everything else. 8 million science instead of 16 million, so it works out that we still need to be effectively running at 12k red and green and 6k blue. What is that? That's not the key I want. So let's have a look at production. 1k red and green. Blue is, or consumption, jumping around a bit. Let's try 1 minute. 4.5. Blue, what are you doing to me? Very slowly winding up to 6, I guess. Nowhere's called for blue yet. Might just be the fact that we're tracking over a certain time. They all appear to be operating, so one would have to assume. Let's not do that, that's probably not great. One would have to assume we will get to the 6, or we should be, oh, that's 5 seconds. It's not doing it at 5 seconds though, why not? Why would you not be? They all look like they're running. I have blue. I mean, I haven't tested that this is in fact enough for when you need 2 lots of hand swings for your, to accommodate your red and your green. I wouldn't have thought it was that big a deal. Kind of getting there, is it? Well, there you go. Just takes a bit of time, it seems, but we finally have blue science at 6,000 a minute, red and green at 12 and 5.9, 6. Hopefully it will stabilize at 6 now that it's got to that point. Production is not all that high just yet. We're going to have to, I guess it will take until we actually need to start producing blue science before anything dramatic is going to happen, but a train has had to pull out of red and green. Yeah, 1 of each so far. It looks like a second one very shortly, so things will start happening there. Let's have a look at this stack. 32,000, there you go. It's starting to everything is starting to have an effect here. I will come out here, drop these guys down. I guess this isn't necessarily the most exciting thing that you've ever seen happen, going through a stack evolution yet again. But I do think it is helping overall performance, so in that regard it's got to be considered worthwhile. I'm not picking them up while there are 32,000 though. It it basically needs to get down to 0, so it'll probably be another train before that's the case. I still can't really quite discern a slither there. Let me just check for you. There you go, there's the 8 million that we require. So, yes. How are these other ones going? I do expect that fairly soon the stack will be fully alive and drawing. It's just the nature of what we're trying to do. And it will unfortunately rebuild quite a bit because there's a supply of ore in there as well. There must be some others at sort of the extremities along here that are still building. There can't be very much more than that though. So we just really need one more train. I guess this one will be it as soon as... No, that's the one that's trying to get out. This one can't get out either. We need your demand to kick in and do something, Blue. There you go. Blue must be doing something now. But of course it doesn't really matter that it's reloading Blue science here just yet. This has to need more iron, which is going to take a while because it's got a -3 there. Even though it asks for 2 iron trains, it's not actually asking for anything until the iron supply gets exhausted down quite a bit. And it doesn't really look like most of the blue production is ticking over particularly much because it doesn't really seem to need to. There you go, that one's gone, but we still have 512,000 blue science just sitting there, so it will take a little while. We are producing a little bit, but it's not really enough to hit our numbers very much yet. See, about 10 minutes. Not quite there on the 1 minute. Very close. How are we doing? Ooh. We must be getting very close. Basically want to not really see ore here anywhere, and then I'll be happy that we have exhausted the thing. There's only 54 more ore. That's probably in the order of about a minute. I guess I could start taking some of this down, but I kind of don't want to. Oh, I know what I need to do before we get too far down the track. I need to come down here and order a bunch more medium poles. Like say 500. Good, it looks like it's worked. So the new version uses a lot more poles and a lot less substations than this version. Gonzi, Gonzi. What's the problem here? Oh, you don't actually have any. None of them have any. Alright, time to revamp. How are we doing? We have space, good. And on the other side, a bit of luck will fit all this in, and I can apply the new blueprint immediately. Wow, we are getting close to outer space, but I think we have just about... Oh, not quite. Okay, twist this around. We will probably need to get into several levels of InfiniZoom. To see where all this fits. I actually can't see. That's a problem. That might actually be what I want. Let's try that and see what happens. Does it have stations in it? Yes. So it would have caused a problem if we put it in the wrong place. Now, none of this should have gone to anywhere that we can't retrieve the data from, so it should all be just sitting here waiting to get installed. Oh, auto trash. No, don't auto trash things, guys. Hope we're not auto trashing anything else. Whoops, we don't want to be auto trashing those either. So we look like we're pretty close to having that nailed. Let's just run down here, grab some. Hopefully the yes, they have been. The medium poles have been, so let's grab them. 400, no, 300, I don't know. Some level of 100. Whatever that was will do for the moment. So, why don't I just go like that, boom. And on this side, we can probably go the same sort of thing. Now, actually fit one of those in there. If I do that, then I don't really need this guy. Alright, let's try down here as well. There we go. That appears to be one restored stack. Now, how far do we have to go in this one? Well, in any event, I am going to try and do the rest of these stacks. I've got plenty of time. It's not just going to happen overnight. The main thing is we are now on faster than light theory C. There should be a slow uptick in our volume of usage. Well, there should be, and it will happen eventually. We'll be using a lot more iron than we were before. We'll even start using some advanced circuits soon. 600 a minute doesn't seem quite right, but maybe it is to do 10. 1. It should be 6,000 that we are actually consuming. How could we be consuming only 600 per minute? I don't really get that. Oh, that would be related to what we're producing, of course, not the amount of blue science that we are doing. So, yeah, I guess it's just lagging slightly on that one. Anyway, 10 minutes now. Do we have 10 minutes of blue at 6,000? Yes, we do. That's the key. Thanks for joining me, guys. Look forward to seeing you in the next, where we will finish off blue science, show you the squished up stacks, I guess, and proceed into the rather more challenging final phase of the faster than light theory science. See you then, guys. Bye bye for now.